So I was very active throughout my pregnancy, and I was at the gym in the morning, kind of had a normal day. I was 37 weeks in one day. Was at the gym, did my normal routine, went to the chiropractor, came home, and through the evening, I was getting ready to make dinner for my husband. I get into the elevator to take the dogs out, and I'm in the elevator, and I'm like, am I peeing? What's going on? My water broke in the elevator. It was like, yes, the doors to the elevator open, and the guy who works at our front desk is standing there, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I didn't pee. My water broke. He's like, do I need to call an ambulance? I'm like, oh my gosh.
You're like, no, this is my mom's birth story.
I'm like, no, we're not starting this like that.
It's happened that way for now.
Totally. It totally did. You know, and like after that long, you're kind of thinking like, okay, how is this going to go down? Like, am I going to go 41 weeks? Like, are we going to be like in for a check? How's this going to work? And it was like, so like the movies.
Let me see if I can avoid the whole induction.
Yes, I'm so grateful. And honestly, I felt so great. Like being 37 weeks, they hear sometimes people get uncomfortable. Like I never really got uncomfortable. I was just like, the Lord totally had it under control. So I get upstairs and I'm like, okay, we trained for this. Like we know, like we're not getting our heart rate up. We are not getting excited. We are just going to stay calm, cool, collected. And so
love it.
I was really able to just kind of bring that down. And, like you remember Sex in the City when her water breaks and she's like, ah! And I'm like, okay, we're not going to do that. We're just going to stay relaxed. Yeah. So I called the practice, and actually the OB was on. So there's the OB who runs all the midwives in the practice. And she was on. She's like, so how do you feel? I'm like, good. She's like, and do you feel anything? I'm like, no. She's like, no cramping. No contractions. No. And she's like, okay, go to bed.
Nice.
I was like,
she didn't come in for an induction.
No. She's like, go to sleep. I'm like, seriously?
I love that. Okay.
She's amazing. I can't say enough wonderful things about her. She is so incredible. And she's so just like, so natural mind. Like, I feel like she would take your course and she'd be like, yes, go girl. That's what I'm talking about. So she's like, okay, go to bed. And she said like, was there anything in the fluids? What color? She checked all those things, of course, but and she said, okay, go to bed. So my husband and I had like the most relaxing evening, had some tea, went to bed. I got a full night's sleep. I woke up at about 5 o'clock in the morning. I was checking in with her every little bit, but I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning, took a shower. I blow dried my hair. I took my birth ball out onto the patio. I watched the sunrise. We have got like a little sunrise view. Watched the sunrise. I listened to worship music. I did a yoga session. Like it was like I could not. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Like, what's the alternative that probably 80 or 90% of moms experience in our hospital system is, you got to come in right now.
Yep.
She's up all night getting hooked up, plugged up to monitors. They're giving her Pitocin. They're dilating her with Cervidil or Foley.
Yeah.
They go right into induction because your water breaks. We don't want an infection.
Yep.
And she doesn't get any sleep. She's being poked and prodded all night long.
Yep.
And then labor takes even longer because this is now, we're trying to manage you and force labor to happen.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, what you do is so perfect. Every woman could experience that.
Yes.
The premature rupture of membranes is what she had at 37 weeks. So, oh my gosh, that makes my heart so happy.
It was, and the whole time I like heard you in my ear, like just cheer. It was just, I could not have played out a better morning. It was incredible. And truly, like after hearing your voice, like on the Stairmaster for my whole pregnancy, I was like, I know. She's like, this is right. This is great.
You're right. So awesome. I love it. Women said that. They're like, I heard your voice in labor. I'm like,
oh, I totally did.
It was relaxing.
Oh, it was. It was so relaxing. So yeah, that was probably about 7 o'clock. I was like, okay, that was definitely a contraction. And, so I'm texting my doula and, chatting with the midwife, and she was like, okay, how far apart are they? And at that time they were like super inconsistent. About 7:45, maybe 8 o'clock. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure they're getting a little more, they were maybe five to 7 minutes apart. She's like, okay, you're progressing. Like, this is great.
And when did your water break the day before?
7 p.m., 7:09 p.m.
So you're 12 hours in, your contractions are just starting.
Yep.
And that, ladies, is totally normal.
Yes.
Did they ever say like, oh, you have to deliver within 24 hours?
So this is, and I'm so glad you asked that because I was talking to the OB the night before and I was like, okay, like doctors, we're like on the timeline, right? Like I have to do, this has to happen within 24 hours. She goes, take the timeline out of your mind. We're going to let your body do what your body's going to do. And you're going to do this. I'm telling you, she is amazing. She's like, your body's going to do this. We are not thinking about a timeline. You relax. I'm telling you. All of them are like that. Every midwife in this practice, the OB, I do not have enough wonderful things to say about them. I felt so empowered by this practice. And I think having your midwives and your OB so believe that you can do this, it was just, and the whole time too, like, if anything, ladies, like find a practice that looks at you and says, you can do this.
Yes.
Like you can do this. Yes. There is no if, there is no, and we know things need to be adjusted sometimes, but like she looked and she's like, no, you can. And I was like, yes, I can.
That is absolutely true. I tell everyone all the time, like your biggest risk factor is the provider you choose.
Yeah. Oh,
100%.
yes.
Like, yeah. Like your birth story would have gone completely different if you were with a different provider. I guarantee
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would, well, you were so right. I would have been in the hospital all night, like having everything hooked up, but monitor, I mean, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, absolutely.
So I love, we shout out to the doctors and midwives. You can say the name because like give credit where credit is due.